Welcome to my EdTech summary of learning. My name is Webster Fox, and we're going to get right into this. So, right away, when I first started the class, I asked, "What is EdTech?" And people always answered, "It's how you know how to use smartboards and Kahoot." And trust me, that's discouraging for someone who's very tech savvy. But that was totally incorrect, and I'm happy about that, and I've enjoyed this class. So, let's get right in. In the beginning, we started with Zoom, and this is a video conferencing service, but it's very good for meetings, and in this particular case, education classrooms. So it changes the whole aspect of an online learning environment and online classes because it's not isolated like they used to be. You can view everyone's faces, and you can present, and you can interact, use breakout rooms, you can use put up your hand and stuff like that. There's a chat, there's voice. Like it's a way to make virtual classrooms actually like a normal classroom and create the community aspect that's always missing. So that changes the whole aspect of online learning. And then another one that we use is Google Plus Communities. And this is another example of something that just enhances online learning. There's other ones like Moodle and that, which we'll discuss later, but this allows you to ask questions and get answers and like different content, share resources privately on your classroom. So these two tools, along with the Google Suite that we used with Google Docs sharing the syllabus and stuff, those three tools are some of the biggest tools I find we've learned about this semester. Even though we learned all the other content, those allow an online environment to be interactive. And that previously wasn't really a big thing that was possible. Previously, online learning was all self-learning essentially. So this changes the whole atmosphere on that. But so getting into the actual content, we learned about PLNs, but what's that mean? Please leave a note. No, it means Professional Learning Network. So that uses services like Google Plus, social media stuff like Twitter, Facebook, blogging, and Twitter chats and stuff like that. So we focused on Twitter and WordPress, but technically Facebook, Google Plus would be included on this. With WordPress, we were posting blogs, commenting on each other's posts, sharing them on Twitter, communicating with educators, communicating with profs, participating in this ed chat, and just we were networking with people and we were making connections that way. On this ed chat, I communicated with someone from Texas, someone from Ontario, someone with Yukon, someone from Weyburn. Like they're all over the place, and you wouldn't be able to communicate with that type of spectrum of people on a normal weekly basis if it wasn't for this online environment. So this is a big part of the PLN, but your Twitter and stuff is also huge on that, and that just defines kind of who you are online, and it allows you to network without needing to go to events all the time for a high cost of money and plane tickets. And then also on Twitter, it used to be 140 characters, but this is just a funny part of how your teaching will always change, because that was a lie, Katya. It's 280 characters now, and it was interesting to see that happen mid-semester like that, because it just shows you that stuff can change and you have to be ready to adapt. I personally prefer the 280. It allows you to communicate more, but some people actually hate it, so we'll leave that up to consideration and opinion. So technology is coming. Are you ready to embrace it? It's inevitable, and that's why this class exists. Technology is here, and you have to implement it. So SAMR model is excellent. This shows how the different levels, starting off where there's no change at all, it's just technology. Then you get a slight improvement, you get a redesigned task, or you get tasks that weren't possible before. And you have to know this, and you have to aim for that transformation and that better implementation of technology. But the fact is, it's here, so you have to be able to use it, and you have to know a bit about it. So for example, I'm using Screencastify right now. Ultimate Guitar Tabs is one I reviewed. Google Read and Write is for inclusive ed and adaptation. There's also simple ones like Pocket and AdBlock Plus, which just make viewing the web nicer, and Grammarly, which helps you correct stuff a bit better. So those are just examples of stuff that works that way. stuff we learned in the class. And then we also explored some educational applications. So examples of this would be the assessment applications such as Poll Everywhere, Plickers, Kahoot, Socrative. These allow you to assess your students online and get an idea of where they are. And Google Forms would also show up in there, but I moved it beside Google Classroom because that's a huge part there. So these are the online learning environments. Google Plus could show up in there too, but I feel like these would be better, especially Classroom. And then we also explored some programming applications. And so together, these are kind of a group of applications we all explored in class, and they're going to be huge in the future, and I can see myself using them. So another big topic that I pulled out of this class was fake news, and I always fall back on this quote: why is it that now, when we have access to more information than ever before, are we becoming increasingly dumb? That's from Rick Mercer's rant on January 2nd, 2017. And it's speaking on the fact that we're getting more and more and more information, yet we're getting fooled more and more. We're falling into traps. So this comes onto the idea of the credible sources guide that we had. And you have to pick your sources wisely, and you have to take some for granted. And then there's also the idea of fact checking. We have to make sure our students are informed of these things. And we have to make sure we're informed of them, because if we're not informed, our students aren't going to have a clue. And this is the only way to stay kind of safe or credible in the future online. Another large topic would be, should social media be in the classroom? And there was kind of some negatives like cyberbullying and the rebellious activity, distractions, honest mistakes, like when they post a picture and it blows up, and like that could be bad. But the fact is, there is positives to this. It can encourage digital activism and digital identity. You can learn about digital citizenship, and they can start their own PLNs or their portfolios online. It adds a collaboration aspect, and it could involve parents into the classroom a bit better. And then the biggest thing about this, my answer is obviously yes, but there will always be a new platform. If they can't access Facebook, they'll go onto something else. So just know that. Social media, should it be taught in the classroom? Yes, it should be there, because you're not going to be able to stop it. And then also, why is it important to teach about technology? We spent an entire day or two on this, and I always fall back on this quote, and I can't actually find out where I got it from. I might have actually made this one myself, but those who can code today will rule the world tomorrow. We're going into a society that's going to be based on software engineering, and so many jobs are going to be lost, and a programmer or something is going to be there to make sure the system works that replaced everything. So like, if we don't need to all be software engineers, but in the future it'd be good to know a bit of code, because that's going to be kind of a big deciding factor, especially on resumes in the future as we go into jobs. Are you fluent in technology, and do you have a digital identity that's clear? So this is a huge passion of mine, and I'm not going to rant about it, but that's that quote kind of sums up my whole concept on this. Yes, it's important to teach about technology, and I was happy we brought this topic up in class. And that ends my summary of learning. I want to say thank you to Katya, thank you to all the classmates, thank you to the education department for forcing me to take this class, because I regretted it initially, but I loved it now, and I'm going to be advocating for this class and trying to push it for other students to take. So thank you, and have a wonderful semester. I hope to see you all next year in EdTech 400.